Okay, good morning class. Everyone, please switch on your videos. Yes, the rest, switch on your videos. The rest, switch on their videos, okay? See, I explained to you about the life cycle of the malarial parasite, okay? So next, I'll give you the notes of malaria. Okay, I'll dictate it today, you all write it down. Okay. After that, whatever points are left to be explained, I'll explain it during the dictation only and it will be easier for you, right? So at first, write down the definition of malaria. I hope everyone is writing, okay? So what is malaria? Malaria is a protozoal disease. Protozoal. Whenever you want me to repeat something or you want the spelling, ask me, okay? Malaria is a protozoal disease which is caused by rest, switch on their videos, which is caused by infection with parasites of the genus genus, parasites of the genus Plasmodium, capital P, okay? Whenever you write the genus name, make sure you are writing the first letter in block letter, okay? PLAS, not all but the first one, PLASMODIUM, Plasmodium, and transmitted to men by certain species of female anopheline mosquito. Female anopheline or anopheles, okay? ANOPHELINE. Female anopheline mosquito. Next, write down clinical features are mild to severe according to the species of the parasite, comma, immunity status of the host, comma, yes, okay, you want me to repeat some line?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, immunity status. Immunity status. 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 Immunity status of the host. Comma. Intensity of infection. Intensity of infection. And presence of other health conditions. Okay. So what does this means? This means that malaria is caused by a group of pathogens or foreign particles which is called your protozoa. Okay, the way we have bacteria, fungi, this is another kind of pathogen which is your protozoa. So it is caused by the protozoal disease. And then what are the vector of the disease? That is the female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, female Anopheles or Anopheline mosquito. And the clinical features of malaria, it varies. Okay, some people might have like mild symptoms, and for some people it might be severe, that it might even cause death in some. Now why does these clinical features vary? Because of the type of the parasite that is affecting them. Okay, as I told you that there were four types: plasmodium, like falciparum, plasmodium ovalis, so like that there were four. So since there were four, the infection by all the four are different. Okay, so the intensity of the clinical features will also differ. Again, it depends on the immunity of the host, which means the human being. Okay, so if the immunity status is good, the person will be able to resist the infection. But if the person is having poor immunity, now that will lead to your a severe case. Okay, and also the presence of other health conditions, which means if the person is having some other health conditions such as your diabetes mellitus or hypertension, or for your example HIV AIDS, so these conditions already weaken your immune system. Okay, they are already affecting your body. So when you get another infection, that is malaria, is added to it, so the severity of the disease will be more. Okay, clear till here? Clear? Okay, everyone switch on your videos. Yes, rest. Switch on your videos. So next, about the infectious organism. Okay, so the parasite. Write down infectious organism slash parasite. Plasmodium falciparum. PLASMODIUM. Plasmodium falciparum. FALCIPARUM. Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, on the side you write it accounts for 50% of the infection. Okay, means 50% of the malarial infection is caused by Plasmodium falciparum. It accounts for 50% of the infection. It accounts for 50% of the infections. Okay, that was number 1. Number 2, you write Plasmodium vivax. Vivax. Plasmodium vivax. Or you can just write P vivax, okay? P dot vivax. P stands for Plasmodium, okay? Next is Plasmodium ovale. Ovale. Next is Plasmodium malariae. Malariae. Okay, so these four. Plasmodium falciparum, which accounts for your 50% of infection, and the rest of the infection are caused as a result of your Plasmodium vivax, ovale, and malariae. Okay. So this was your infectious agent or the parasite. Then next you write the host or the reservoir of organism. Sorry, infection. Host slash reservoir of infection. Reservoir. Okay, reservoir of infection. Then write men and female Anopheles mosquito. After writing men, in bracket you write host, definite host. Men, in bracket you write DEFINITE, definite host. Men, definite host. And female Anopheles mosquito, ANOPHELES, Anopheles mosquito. In bracket you write vector. Okay, written. Then you write chimpanzees in tropical Africa. This is under your host and reservoir of infection only, right? Chimpanzees of tropical Africa. So, malaria is caused by your protozoa, okay? Not virus, not bacteria, but protozoa. The infectious organism or the infectious agent is your Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, ovale, and malariae. And then the host or the reservoir of this infection is your men and female Anopheles mosquito. Now, why man is the definite host? Because the signs and symptoms you will find only in human being. Okay, not on the female Anopheles mosquito. Both men and Anopheles mosquito both can contain the infectious agent within themselves. Men will also have the infectious agent in them. The female Anopheles mosquito will also have the infectious agent within them. But the signs and symptoms will only be shown by men. So men is your definite host and female Anopheles mosquito is the vector. Vector means it is the carrier. Okay, it itself will not be affected by the disease, but it can carry the disease from one person to the other. And then also it has been found that the chimpanzees in tropical Africa, they were also affected by this disease. Okay. And apart from this, you will not find this infection in any other kind of animal. Okay. Next you write incubation period. 7 to 30 days. 7 to 30 days. 30 days. And under that you write a point that incubation period is shorter for Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, so what does this means that if you are infected by this infectious agent, there is Plasmodium falciparum, which accounts for about like 50% of your infection. So in these cases, your incubation period will be shorter. Okay, it will take lesser days to show the signs and symptoms rather than if you are infected by the other three types, it will take more time to show the signs and symptoms. But in case of Plasmodium falciparum, within a short period of time, you will be showing the clinical features. Okay. After that, write down high risk group. High risk group. Within that, you write all ages. All ages are equally prone to get the infection. All ages are equally prone to get the infection. Then another point to write under that, newborn are resistant to Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, the newborn babies, that is the infants, they are resistant to your Plasmodium falciparum. Next point you write under that, pregnant ladies are also at a higher risk. After that, you write down the sex differences. It is more in male than in female. Next you write mode of infection. By by bite of the infectious female Anopheles mosquito. So after this mode of infection, you add the life history of the malarial parasite that I have sent you yesterday, and I have also explained it to you. So any doubts in that life history, because that is an important one, okay? You need to understand that about the life history. You understood that? You all understood that about the life history that I told you about the asexual phase and the sexual phase, clear that one? So after this mode of infection, you add that up, okay, about the life history. I have sent the notes about the phases, about the different phases. So the cause for this malarial infection, it is clear, okay. Cause is that bite only. By bite of the female Anopheles mosquito, you get the disease. That is the cause. But now there are some risk factors, like what factors can increase your chances of getting the infection. So you write down this risk factors. Young children in transmission areas. Young children in transmission areas. So what does this means? Transmission areas means these are the high risk areas, means the areas where people are already experiencing too many cases. So these are the transmission areas. So young children in these areas are more prone to get the infection. Why? Along with that you add who have not yet developed, same line, okay, who have not yet developed protective immunity, protective immunity against the disease. Okay, so these young children have not yet developed immunity. So if they reside in these transmission areas, that is the high risk areas, they are also prone to get the disease. Then next, write down non-immune, non-immune, and semi-immune, non-immune and semi-immune, pregnant women in high transmission areas. Non-immune and semi-immune pregnant women in high transmission areas. After that you write HIV infected pregnant women. HIV infected pregnant women. The next point you write people with HIV AIDS. HIV/AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. After that you write people traveling from people traveling from non-endemic areas, non hyphen endemic, ENDEMIC, people traveling from non-endemic areas to endemic areas. Because they lack immunity. People traveling from non-endemic areas to endemic areas because they lack immunity. Now why? Because these people, for the rest of their life, they have resided in an area where there are no cases of malaria, so they were never exposed to the malarial parasite. So as a result, they have not developed any kind of immunity. This parasite is new to them. So when they visit an endemic area, means the area which are highly infected, so if they visit those areas, so a little bit of exposure will result in the infection in them, because they have not developed any kind of immunity against the disease. So if you get an infection for one time, or even if you are exposed to the infectious agent for at least one time, you will develop some kind of immunity against it. Okay, your body's immune system will respond to it. But then these people are from non-endemic areas, so they have never been exposed to the infectious agent. So as a result, when they visit the highly endemic areas, means the areas which where these malarial cases are more, so they are more prone to get the infection, okay, easily. Clear about this point? Okay. So after this, we have the clinical features. Clinical features of malaria. Can you say this? These are some clinical features, okay? First, as you can see, is epistaxis. Epistaxis means nose bleeding. Then the person will be having fever and chills. Chills means the person will be shivering. Okay, along with it, they will have nausea and vomiting. Nausea means the tendency to vomit. And then comes your vomiting. Okay. After that is retroorbital pain. Retroorbital pain means pain at the back of the eyes. So that is your retroorbital pain. Along with that, they will have headache. Okay. Then you can see there are 2 points, myalgia and arthralgia. So don't worry, I'll give you the notes. You just look here, okay? Myalgia and arthralgia. So myalgia means muscle pain, okay? And arthralgia means pain at the joints. Arthralgia means pain at the joints. Myalgia means pain at your muscles, okay? Then you can see rashes, and these rashes are your maculopapular rashes. And then scattered petechiae. So these petechiae, yesterday I told you, these are some your spots which are like elevated. Okay, some red spots which are elevated. As you can see, along with the rashes, you can see that there are some red spots all over his body. And your platelet count, that also decreases. Okay, your platelet count also decreases. It is less than your 1,50,000. So you can write down, actually the malaria, depending upon the clinical features, no, malaria have been divided into your 3 stages. Okay, 3 stages of malaria. So these are, write down, first is your cold stage. Cold stage. Second is your hot stage. Cold stage, hot stage. And third is your sweating stage. SWEATING. Sweating stage. So through the names you can know that in the first stage the person will feel cold. Okay, he will have shivering and fever. Okay, and also after fever will come down very easily and the person's body will be cold. and the person will have some shivering and chills. So that is the cold stage. After that is your hot stage. Hot stage means the person will have high fever in that stage. Okay, along with that there are some associated signs and symptoms. After that is the sweating stage. So what happens once we have fever, so after some time you will start sweating. So when you start sweating, so after that point of time your temperature will also drop, right? So these are the three stages: cold stage, hot stage, and sweating stage. So you can write it down. In the cold stage you write, okay, first is your cold stage, you write headache, headache, nausea, nausea, nausea. Nausea means the tendency to vomit, okay, nausea. Vomiting, chills, 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 rigors, 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 and temperature rises to about 39 to 41 degrees Celsius. 39 to 41 degrees Celsius. So in the early part of this stage, skin is cold. And later the skin becomes hot. Pulse is rapid and weak. Pulse, pulse is rapid, rapid, rapid and weak. And this stage lasts for about 1 by 4 to 1 hour. Means a quarter hour or 1 hour. Quarter hour means 15 minutes. So 1 by 4 to 1 hour. So what you will experience in the cold stage is that the person will have headache, and then the person will vomit, and he will have these tremors which are called as your chills, and your temperature will be about like 39 to 41 degrees Celsius. Okay, your skin will be cold in the early part, and later on it will become hot. Your pulse, that is your heartbeat, okay, that will be very rapid. Okay, your heart will be beating rapidly, but still it will be weak. It will be not that strong as it should be, and then it lasts for about like 1 by 4, means about 15 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, next you write about the hot stage. Second is your hot stage. fever, headache, vomiting. So these are almost same. Okay, fever, headache, vomiting. And seizures in children. Seizure spelling Seizure. 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 So seizure means there will be some problem with the electrical activity of your brain. Okay, that means in the transmission of the neural signals, or in the transmission of the signals. See, we get some signals from our brain, right? And those signals are carried by our nerves. So when there will be problem with this signal generation and also in the transmission of these signals, the person will go into a state of seizure. When they go into the state of seizure, the child will lose the consciousness. Okay, so the loss of consciousness will occur here in case of seizure. So that happens only in case of your children, not in the younger adults. Along with that, the person will feel burning hot, and skin is hot and dry. The headache is intense in this stage. Headache, skin is hot and dry. Hot and dry. Headache is intense in this stage. Next point, pulse is full. So in the earlier one, the pulse was weak and rapid. Here your pulse is full. Okay, full. And respiration is rapid. Respiration means your breathing rate. So the person will be breathing more rapidly. Okay. So what is rapid breathing called? It is called your tachypnea. Okay. Tachyp. Tachyp. NEA. Tachypnea. So whenever your breathing rate increases, that is known as your tachypnea. Whenever it decreases, that is known as your bradypnea. Tachypnea and bradypnea. So here what you will experience is your tachypnea. And this stage lasts for about 2 to 6 hours. This stage lasts for 2 to 6 hours. Okay. So written, we will discuss about the sweating stage and diagnosis, prevention and treatment tomorrow. Okay, in tomorrow's class. So today we have ended up with your cold stage and the hot stage. So sweating stage, we'll discuss it tomorrow. So CR, you give me the attendance, okay? So I'll wind up the class now.